Hello. How's everybody doing today? Excited for another Workout Wednesday live. If this is your first time, I do this every single week around this time, Fridays around this time, 10 a.m. Central Time. And basically what we do is we go from data to dashboard as we follow along with the current week's Workout Wednesday challenge and in Tableau. So really excited to see what we've got in store. I've seen a lot of chatter. As always, again, if you're new to this, how I do this, I have not looked at the requirements. I have not looked at the data. I have not opened Tableau to look at this challenge. Certainly, as part of the Workout Wednesday team, I certainly see all the tweets and all the chatter on LinkedIn and Twitter and social media. But I do not read any of the blogs. I don't look at anything. I do this pretty much blind, if you will. So it's pretty fun. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through this challenge and see what we can learn and have some fun along the way. So let's go ahead and jump into what we're looking at. So we've got a normalized jitter plot from Kyle this week, and looking at some baseball data again, which is good. So we've got four different ones here. We got four different stats, if you will. We've got a player selection, and basically what will happen is we've got the big dots are the player that you selected. All of the other dots here are kind of jittered, so you can kind of see the distribution, which is what a jitter plot is used for. And so it's kind of a jittered strip plot is kind of what you can kind of think of this as. And then, excuse me, it's early morning here. Not really. I should be awake by now, but it's all right because I got my coffee. So. And then we've got a median line across each of the different stats, so you can see what the median line is there. Now, let's see. So what's going to be interesting here is we have. So as I kind of look at, let's go ahead and look at the underlying Tableau workbook here. Let's go look at the live workbook. So what you can see here, what's interesting. And this is why it's normalized, right? Because we have 0.284 for batting average up in the upper quartile. But then if we go across to OPS, we've got 0.853 that's lower than 2.84, right? So what's happening here? Well, we're normalizing everything to the individual stat, right? We're not normalizing across the four stats because each one of those are completely separate, and you're not going to be able to do that. You would not compare batting average to OPS. You would not compare on base percentage to slugging. So that's just something to think about, right? Okay, now, and then we've got. And then we got some stuff down here, right? So we've got the ranking of that person, the selected, out of the total number. And then what percentile they're at, right? So for OPS, Julio Rodriguez is in the 94th percentile for OPS and at 0.85, right? An 853 OPS. Which is good. So let's go build it, right? So what we need to do first is we got to get the data. So let's go down here. We go to data.world. Am I signed in? Yes, I'm signed in, which is good. We're going to download this data. There it is. It's no thanks. And now we're going to go back to Tableau, and we can see that it is so I'm going to just go drag this Microsoft Excel. I'm going to drag it into Tableau that I've got back here. Right? Okay. And then we'll just go here, right? So, a couple things we can do here. One, this is going to start to look, let's see what his requirements are. So let's go back here. How many sheets? He does not specify how many sheets. That's good. That's good for us. That's good for us. We can use however many sheets we want. But the good thing is, I believe we can do this all in. I think we'll be able to do this. I'm going to try to do this in as few sheets as possible. So, I haven't quite exactly. So we know that name is going to represent every single dot. So we're going to drop that onto detail. You can see here we have 317 players. We are going to do measure names. We're going to filter that because we don't want the row count. That is meaningless. But then we're going to take measure values. And we're going to drop that onto. We're going to drop measure values onto rows. We're also going to take measure names and we're going to drop that onto columns. So we're going to get every single one. Now, we don't want bars here. We want circles. So we drop that to a circle, right? We're looking pretty good so far. You can see that slugging is above 1 where everything else is down here. So what do you want to handle first? I'm going to handle the jitter part. So there's 2 ways to go about jittering. One is you can do it randomly, or you can do it off of something else, right? So you can. What I've done, the way that I learned how to jitter originally was I used the index function. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to call this jitter and I'm going to just do index. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to do my default table calculation and I'm going to do it's on name, right? Just like that. So now anytime I take jitter and I drag it up and I put it on columns, watch what happens, right? So we get the jitter. So what happens here is we have a dot. Basically, what's happening here? This is a continuous field, right? So every player gets a name. Every player gets an index value, 1 to 317. Or I should say 0 to 100, 1 to 17, 1 to 317, and it just displays them out right there. Now, the other way that I've seen do this is with the unsupported, unofficial random function. So you may or may not, depending on how long you've been using Tableau, there is a random function in Tableau. You can see it does not show up in the list of functions, right? So it's not there, but it is there. So it's kind of a sneaky little thing. And there's no documentation on it, but there are many blogs about it. So if you're curious about how to use it, you can go in and you can look at. So then what I'll do is I'll put that up here. I'll remove the jitter index. And now what it's done is it's just randomly assigned 0 to 1, just like it would in Excel, right? Just like how you would expect to see. Use that however you'd like. I tend to prefer the index method, but you can use whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. Okay, now what you can see here, again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to normalize everything, right? We're trying to normalize everything. So when you hear normalize, what you need to be thinking about is percentiles, right? So we basically need to get all values of all stats between 0 and 1, right? So let's go and we can just do quick table calculations on percentile. And Tableau tries to be smart and it tries to do table across. Well, there is no dimension going across the table in our view right now, so everyone is at 1. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually just going to do BA percentile, which is just window percentile. Whoop, not window standard deviation, but window percentile of BA. And I think I probably need to aggregate this. Yeah. So sum of batting average and let's see. Or maybe it's just the percentile. There it is. Percentile of batting average. 0.5. What's that do? Let's see. Nope. No, it's a window function. That's what I thought. All right, we'll do this. So percentile is an aggregate function, whereas window percentile is a table calculation. All right, let's see what this rank percentile. Interesting. Okay. So let's go into here. Let's change this up. I did not know that. See, there's new ways of learning, right? Rank percentile. And then we'll just do that. And then we need to aggregate our measure. And now we'll do this, and now we do that, right? Click OK. Take that off. Put it back on. There we go. Right? So batting average percentile. Now what you can see is there is so there you can see that every single person has a value between 0 and 1. But that's not quite looking like what we have here, right? Because we should have. So let's bring this back. We're going to get this right. So we're going to do percentile on name, just like that. Okay. Let's go back here. So the other way that we can do this, the other way that we can normalize, so that's one way to do it, percentiles, right? What that's going to happen is you're going to get between 0 and 1, right? You're going to have, every single person is going to have 0 and 1 for their batting average. The other way that you can do this, which we did here, right? So that's the exact same calculation. 100%, exactly, okay? Now, let's do a different way of normalization, which is we're going to take the sum of batting average for a given player, sum of BA minus the window min sum BA divided by window max of sum BA minus the window min of sum BA. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one. This one right there. There we go. Let's do apply there. Oh, we want to do it across name, and then we'll bring this one in. That's not quite right. That's very not right. So we have so that didn't really change anything, right? Like this we have because basically if you are the median, you are on the 0 line, right? So that's not really what we want. What we really want is this kind of, we want this space right here, right? So let's see. Create a plot showing highlight color. If you click on a grid, yep, show the rank and percentile at the bottom of the chart. On a normalized scale, 0 to 1, with the ability to select the player. Okay. All right, let's do this another way. Name, batting average as a discrete dimension, or a discrete measure, right? So that's their business, that's their average, right? Let's take percentile. So we have, if we look at this again, we have Jeff McNeil, right? So we've got these guys, these three guys are right here, right? So we've got that. Okay, let's just, let's keep going with this. Let's keep going and then we'll see kind of where we're at in a little bit. But that still doesn't look right because, right? So, because then if I throw the median line in here, whoop, median line on the measure values, and I do edit this to do every pane, it's going to be at 0.5, right? Let's see. So if I just do this rank percentile for each one, that's going to normalize everything. Well, not normalize, that's going to put everybody between 1 and right. So the median is going to be 0.5, right? It's right there. Okay. Let's do, what does this look like? Slugging. Right here, right? So discrete point, yep, okay. So we've got 0.686 for slugging. And okay. Let's go back. And we'll just do sum of BA. There. OPS. Yeah, okay, there it is. But you can see here that this is the one. This is the one line. This is the 0 line. And then everybody fits in between here. What about, oh, maybe rank on name it's closer, kind of, but not really. Oh, and it's not even, oh, rank ascending, right? Yeah, there we go. And now if we do, how's that look? Does that look better? I don't know. Well, also understand that I'm using the, I'm using this. If I use random, what does it look like? And then if I do median here again, it's just going to be the middle again, right? So that's not working, right? That's not going to work. Because essentially what needs to happen, right, is if we go back, there we go, right? Do I do so? Because it doesn't seem like these are 4 sheets, right? Because it says in 4 metrics on a normalized scale, right? So if we just look at sum of BA, and we do percentile on name, that gets us what we had. What we really want is this type of shape, right? We want the data to be shaped like this, but we want it to be between 0 and 1. Is this the other normalized? Yeah, sum of BA minus the window min divided by, let's just wrap all this again, just to make sure. we do that, let's see what this looks like. Oh, that looks better. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what, okay, good. Glad we got that sorted out. I thought I had that. Didn't I have that? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, now what we need to do, we'll delete this calculation. And we'll rename this BA norm. And then we'll duplicate. And we'll edit. And then we'll just do the other ones, right? So OPB, OPB, OBP, copy. Oop. See, we're getting there. And then we'll call this OPB. Just like that. And then we'll take OPP norm and we'll add it. Ooh, not there. We'll take measure names, put it up here. There we go. And, but, okay. But let's figure this out before we get any further here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's working. All right, good deal. Okay, now, so I added the median line, right? So that adds the median line there for each one. So now we'll just do a little bit of duplicate, edit, and see, I thought we had, see, I could have swore I did this, but it's all right. OPS. There we go, just like that. Change this to OPS. See, this is one of the reasons that I do this, right? The reasons that I'm doing this is because I see there are a lot of perfect blog posts and videos out there, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. I am not discrediting any of those blog posts. I have plenty of blog posts and previous videos about here's your answer, right? But what I like about doing this this live stream here is, in the way that I've kind of constructed it, is because you get to see my struggles, right? And you get to hear my thought processes, and you get to see me figure out how I get through issues, right? And I think there's something very valuable in that, especially coming from someone who has been working in Tableau for many, many years, right? To see that we all still struggle, right? So you might be having a really hard time with something at work right now, right? Like a project at work that you're working on. You're like, oh, this is just not making any sense. Well, you know what? We all have that. We all have times like that. So don't feel bad. Don't get discouraged. Just keep at it. Learn as much as you can, and do the best you can, right? So, okay, now we're done with these. Took my little soapbox there while I was doing that, and now we're ready to do. So I need slugging and OPS and OPS. There we go. All right. Nope. OPS norm. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now what we need to do, so that's the jitter. Now let's see what it looks like if we do random. right? So just it doesn't change anything. It's just kind of however you want it to be, right? So now I think what I'll do now is I think key will format, nope, we'll edit the alias. This is something that is a pretty cool trick. So I'm using measure names and measure values, and I have measure names on header on columns. And especially when you're using table calculations as measure values in your worksheet, sometimes it'll do like measure calculated along this and this and that and whatever, right? And so your header becomes really, really long, and that's not really what you want. Did you know you can edit those aliases? You can, just like I'm doing here. And it doesn't change the name of the calculation here. You're editing the alias just like you would alias dimensions, right? You're editing that alias. So it's kind of a trick to doing all that. So that's a really fun one that I really like. All right, format, not format, edit alias. And we'll do BPB. Nope, we'll do OPS. There we go. All right. Now we'll get rid of our header because we don't need it because it's meaningless. And we'll get rid of this because it's also meaningless. Let's format this to get rid of all of our grid lines. Get rid of our 0 lines. And we'll get rid of our row dividers. Okay. We will do a little bit of formatting real quick. Format. I think actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I am going to stick with the jittered, the index jitter, just because I want to. So we'll get rid of that header again. We'll do that. We'll do some formatting here. The font, we're going to bump that up to 12, maybe 14, make it bold. We will shade it this kind of gray color. That looks good. Maybe we'll increase the size of it just to give us a little bit more space. Come on. Well, maybe not. I don't know. There. Why is Tableau being silly like this? I just want to increase the size a bit. Why can't you let me do that? All right, whatever. We'll figure that out later. Okay, now what I need to do is, all right, let's do the selection. So we're going to create a parameter. It's going to be a string value, and we're going to do a list, and we're going to add the value from names. And our first one is going to be Julio Rodriguez. And we'll do player select player. Click OK. Now, here's what's fun. So, one, we're going to do select player equals name. And we'll do name check. Drop that on size. Okay, where is my Julio Rodriguez? Show parameter. Let's do Aaron Judge. Okay. I know. So Julio Rodriguez. You can see that it everything goes away, right? So we need to account for this name. We need to account for this in our all of our calculations. Nope. Along name. Edit calculation. There he is. See? So we need to edit. So every single dimension that you put in your view is going to be affected by every new dimension that you put in your calculation, or that you put in your view, will affect all of these table calculations, right? So just something to think about, consider. Let's increase the size. That looks good. So we increase the size there. Let's play a little bit with the range here. See what that looks like. I mean, I know it's going to be a bigger color. It's also going to be a color, right? So we're also going to put name check here. Here. And we're going to change the Z order. And then we're going to reverse. There we go. Change this. True will be this blue color. False will be gray. Just like that. Or, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that is not what we're going to do. Because you can see here, oh, like I said, see here how we had, what's interesting here is we have, see how these these column names have changed? So we're going to edit the alias, we're going to go back to BA. Now what's probably going to happen is, it says we can't. We can't do that because we already aliased, remember? So one way to get around that one, you can Control Z back to before we did all of the aliasing, or we can just fudge it and we'll do BA space. Like I said, it's kind of a weird quirk in Tableau, and this is the only way that you can get to it, right? You can't do, at least I don't believe. Yeah. Oh, you can. Look at that. Interesting. So I did not know that. At least it wasn't available in prior versions. I haven't tried it since, because once you learn a way in Tableau, it's the only way that you do it, right? So let's clear that. And now we can just do BA. We have to change this one. Okay. All right. Cancel this. We'll just go along with what we're doing. But you saw what I did there. So OPS, there we go. All right. So there's that. Looking good. Okay. Oh yeah, we don't want this. We need to edit this guy to not show recalculated. There we go. And we're gonna do, it's gonna be a dashed line, and it's gonna be gray, and it's gonna be thin. Nope, this and thin. There we go. Get rid of our computation, get rid of automatic. There we go. Okay. I think it needs to be a little bit darker. There. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Now, I think what we need to do now, so we could call this done, right? But I think what we'll do is we'll edit this. And we'll do if. So right now, so let me tell you what I'm going to do, right? So right now, if we chose Aaron Judge, see how his see how his circles are just kind of there? They're in the middle, or they're towards the edge. They're just going to be placed wherever. Wouldn't it be really cool if we could figure out a way to center each dot every single time we selected a new player? It would always put it right in the middle of where they are. So let's do that. So let's keep here just so you can see how this is done. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if max name check, then we're going to do index. Well, no, we're going to do we're going to do the floor. Nope. Floor. I'll do round. It's fine. Floor. Why not? Haven't used floor in a while. Floor size divided by 2. Else index end. Floor cannot be assigned. Okay, how about round? There. If max name check, name check is a Boolean, the max value of Boolean is true. That's what we want. So if name check is true, then take the entire size of the partition divided by 2. Round that to the whole number. That's going to give us the middle of 317. Else, put in your index, right? So when you click apply, if I did this right, all of Aaron Judge's dots should go to the center of each percentile. Bingo. Now we'll go back to Julio Judge, or Julio Rodriguez, and you'll see the dot change, but everything will be lined up on the center. Right? So everything is in the center now, which is working the way that we want. Hooray! All right. What's left? If max, nope, if name check, then, ooh, how are we going to do that? Oh, if name check, then, well, because I can't use measure values in table calculations. Okay. Right, because I can't put whatever measure value is in there. Okay. Because I could do BA and put that on value. That's going to put it on every single one. Maybe, right? If name check. Now, if this works, this is going to be wild because I've never done this before. I've never done it this way before. Then, if name check, then OPB and put that on? Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think that would work, but it was starting to look like it might. So what we could do is can we do because we can make this we could make this guy a dual axis. But what we wouldn't end up with is, well, all right, let's see. If check, then floor, no, then round size divided by 2. And max. Default name, advanced name. So I could do that. And then when I do this, take name check off. Yeah, because that just puts, yeah, that doesn't put anybody else on there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, if I do that. So we've got to figure out a way. I've got to figure out a way to do measure names and measure values. Unless I make all of these, unless I make each one of these different sheets, which is possible. And he doesn't specify how many sheets I need to use. Maybe that was intentional. All right, I do have a conflict at the top of the hour, so let's just go ahead and see how this was done here. Let's go and see what's happening here. Nope, okay. He did it on 1. Selected player value. How did he do this? He pivoted. Oh, of course. Nicely done, Kyle. Yep. Smart. Smart. I was not thinking of that. I was not thinking of that. Okay. Well, that's fun. Good job. So yeah. Like I said, I've got a conflict at the top of the hour, but that makes a ton of sense. And this is why it makes the most sense to understand how you want to visualize it, understand the limitations of Tableau, and getting your data right. Man, nicely done. Yep, that's how you do it. You got to pivot everything. But you can see we got everything with not pivoting, right? On my solution, I've got everything except for the label. And the label is where you run into them, right? Now, are there ways that we could work around this? Absolutely. We could put the value in, we could put the value, right? Instead of on the dot, we could very easily put the value up in the header, right? Actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, we couldn't, because again, you'd have to do the. Yeah. Because you can't do discrete measure values. So, yeah. Pivot. Good job. Excellent. All right. Well, like I said, I've got a conflict at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and shut this down. But this was fun. Enjoyed it. That was a good one. I got all the way there, and then if I had time, if I had more time, if I didn't have a conflict, certainly I'd show you how we do all that. Maybe I'll make another video and show you how we did that. But that's how you do it. So thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll do this next week. It's always a good time, right? Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Go forth and viz.